Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, one half of the Steve and Mike Show. www.steveandmikeshow.com is up and running, where you can hear such shows as you're about to hear tonight. This is another edition of On the Mic with Mike, and as always, it's a pleasure having on the great talents of Lingerie Fighting Championships, that is LFC. And I am on the line with a woman making her return to LFC, that being Miss Lauren the Animal Fogle. Lauren, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome, and I gotta say, first and foremost, congratulations on your return, your win against newcomer Jezebella Fire Queen Marie. That was a hell of a bout.
Absolutely. I needed that. It was definitely my comeback fight.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I think with you, because first and foremost, before we even get into anything else, how's the knee? How you feeling health-wise? Are you getting back to being 100%?
I am finally getting back. My last fight, I was in really rough shape in many ways, and it showed. I pulled myself back together, getting back in shape, training, just staying focused.
Okay. Well, I got to say this to you as well, because she's one of my favorite people, and I think she's very, like yourself, an integral part of LFC. I've been seeing what you've been doing with Syndicate MMA, with Jesse El Toro Santos training, getting back on the ground. I got to say, I just want to see you just keep progressing, and I can't wait till your next fight.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so glad. I was looking for a gym to go to, and I saw she was there a lot, so I decided to go tag along with her. It's a great gym to be at.
I gotta say, I mean, Roxanne Modafferi is there, from UFC. There's a lot of great talents at the Syndicate MMA, and that's what I love about, Vegas when you guys have the Vegas shows. I mean, you look at what Greg Frito has done for you ladies, being mentored by Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Syndicate MMA. There's a lot of great training there that helps you ladies prepare for what you do.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm starting to take advantage of that.
Well, I gotta say, with you, I think what's very great about yourself, and what I love watching you and do in the LFC, I think just here's the thing. I look at it like you're very big into the cosplaying thing, which I wanted to get into because I've seen you do your thing as Captain Marvel, Star Wars, Thanos, Catwoman, Supergirl, Harley Quinn. You had a lot of fun with your
all of the
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So you add a lot of fun with your costumes and just the whole nine. I think that's what makes you the awesome human being that you are as a fighter and a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I just got done with a Supergirl slightly themed photo shoot. It's fun. I get bored easy, so I like having my hands into a lot of things.
Well, I gotta say, it does show, and that's what I love about you. Now, with you, I guess I would probably have to say you're kind of like a super nerd at heart, because I appreciate this, because I'm a pop culture nerd. I mean, growing up watching the Batman cartoons and Batman Beyond, obviously the original Batmans, the Supermans, the whole nine, but which one really sticks out for you? Because I'm curious about this, from one fellow nerd to another, if you will.
I know it's kind of opposite, but I'm torn between Batman and Superman.
Okay. Now, I will say this, I like both, and I kind of agree with you on that, but I look at Batman as, I look at it from a movie standpoint, obviously the Michael Keaton and the whole nine, the original one, obviously even to go back to the days of, Adam West and Burt Ward, and then, you come to what we have with Christian Bale and, just the Val Kilmer's, yes, and with Superman, I remember seeing Superman Returns in the theaters, the original Superman with Christopher Reeve, so it is kind of split with me. I kind of have to agree with you on that because there's so many great adaptations of both of them.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Absolutely. It's hard to choose between this alien, wholesome person and then an orphan billionaire with, mental issues. Very tough decision.
It is, but I look at it they both tell different and very compelling stories, and I think it's a win-win for both. Exactly. So, I mean, and what would come from with Avengers and the Iron Man and all that. So, I think, they still stand up and they hold up. I mean, I remember seeing the first Iron Man, the whole nine. So, I mean, just all compelling stories all around. I mean, the Hulk series, the Incredible Hulk. So, it all holds up.
Yes, it does. Nerd power.
Yes. Yes. Now, I have to say this to you as well, because getting into before we even get to lingerie fighting championship, because like I mentioned, to reiterate, integral part of LFC that you are, I have to say this. Let's start talking about the lingerie football league. Now I know you did that for a little while as well. Like I remember Summer Rae from WWE doing a little bit of LFL. I mean, I've always enjoyed that as a kid as well, just because it's beautiful women doing football and just accentuating the three key elements of beauty, strength, and dominance, and just very hard and very contact. And all in all, I enjoyed the product. So can you tell us how you got into the LFL?
I first heard about it. I was dating a former Bronco, and at the time, Denver had a team and Vegas did not. So I'm actually not a biggest fan of football, but like I get to be half naked and tackle other half naked women. So I was interested. And coincidentally, then very next year, Vegas did get an expansion team, and it's the athlete circle is pretty small, so I found out, where to go, and I tried out. And I did not play that first season due to, stupid reasons, but that's how I got into it.
Well, I gotta say, I look at it like this, because I mentioned the three key elements of beauty, strength, and dominance, and I'm going to correlate and tie this into Lingerie Fighting Championship LFC here. I mean, unfortunately, people say what they say, and I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, and there's the blunt thing about, opinions are like assholes, everybody has one, but I look at it like this way.
Fuck them, don't care.
Thank you. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, you're fine. What I was going to say is I always like to tell people, like, look at it as an art form. Like, music's an art form, wrestling's an art form, MMA's an art form. Everything out there is an art form. If you actually look at it and analyze, dissect, and decipher it, are you actually really looking at it? So if you look at, like, LFL and LFC, you have great people that train you and, provide you to go into the contact sport that LFL and LFC is. So it's like, it's not like really anything else. It's just, it's just beautiful women kicking ass and what have you. And just whether it be in a football setting or a mixed martial arts setting, you're still an art form all in all.
Yes, we are the hardcore athletes, and we're taking advantage of men and our sexuality. So yes, it draws more attention, but that doesn't take away from our athleticism.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think probably LFC has, from what I've seen, I can kind of compare it to like Invicta, Shannon Knapp's promotion. Look at how, Shayna Baszler and Jessamine Duke, who came from Invicta, who are now a part of the NXT roster for WWE. I mean, you have so many skilled athletes, but yes, they're in the lingerie, but it's kind of like Invicta, but with lingerie, if I can make that comparison, because it's great women's and mixed martial arts all in all.
Yeah, sex sells.
It does.
Bottom line.
It does.
And it's entertainment. All sports is entertainment. It just has the added element.
Exactly. Now, with Lingerie Fighting Championship, can you tell us how you got into LFC? Because, like I mentioned, again, integral part. There's so many dynamics, and I want to get to some of your opponents. But can you just tell us how the Lingerie Fighting Championship journey began, Lauren?
That was word of mouth. Friend of a friend in the entertainment business said, "Hey, there's this league. Would you like to be a part of it?" And I said, "Yes."
Simple as that. Okay, all right. Now, I mean, all right, I'm going to add this to this, because what's interesting about listening to your girls, stories, you get a lot of that, like it's the word of mouth thing. And what's great about it is word of mouth, and not just to quote the Ludacris rap album from back in the day, like 2001. But, the word of mouth does help. And, and it helps to get the word out. And, I mean, look at what you've done. I mean, I have to talk to this with you because I had Terry on the show, Terry Feisty Fitz London. Some of your best bouts. Yes, some of your best bouts and some of your great, one of your greats. And we're going to get into the calendar in a second. But I got to say this to you. I said to her, Terry, you and Lauren, it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. And I said to her, you're kind of like Saliva's Always, taking it back to 2002, back into your system. So, and she said that would be your theme song if you two had like a little dynamic there going. That'd be your girl's theme song.
Fun tidbit. She is a dancer, entertainer as well here in Vegas. We met quite a few years ago. We were supposed to go on a date. She got a little too intoxicated. So that didn't happen. So I was a little bit over that. Like, we were supposed to go on a date, and but that was a long time ago.
Well, I gotta say, with your fights, I look forward to another Terry Feisty Fitz London thing. But what's great about it is, like, again, the dynamic, and we also saw that in the calendar. Now, being the calendar, as I have it, I have the digital download, seeing you two on the month of Christmas. Can you tell us about working that shoot? Because that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Um, I right away loved the concept, the theme. Like, yes, I love pointed ears, love being an elf, and it was just really fun.
And I think if you like talk about like, and I'm gonna say this to you, I'm so happy that came into fruition because I think, growing up, looking at sports, looking at music, looking at calendars and magazines that we have, I think it's great that LFC finally got the calendar. Every shoot came out great, and it really depicts and shows you ladies for who you are, depending on months, whether it be Valentine's Day month with February, Monica's month in January, you and Terry for Christmas month, and how can you not beat Christmas? I mean, come on, Christmas is one of the best holidays out there. It's a time of giving.
Yeah,
So I mean, you made it sexy and you made it
yeah,
fun for the holidays.
of course. hmm And it's just an excuse to tie her up with some lights.
That
That
too.
was my idea. Surprise, surprise.
Exactly, but I just had to point that out there because I think you two have just such a great dynamic, and it's a joy and it's a pleasure to watch you both, and I look forward to when you guys go at it once again, man.
Me too. We do have great chemistry.
One other person I have to mention that you have great chemistry with is we got to talk about Cali Cat because you and Cali Cat,
Wow.
I know, my God, almost fighting in an elevator and Bratislava and Slovakia there, just going at it, getting
Yeah.
each other's heads. There's a lot of tension there, but you both bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, during one of our scenes when we first found out we were gonna fight each other, I just had the day before just had a really bad football game. There's a lot of crap, and I told her ahead of time, like, I'm gonna say some really nasty shit. Don't take anything too seriously, but I kind of crossed the line, and I didn't know, so she's holding that against me, which is totally fine. But I said, like, hey, I'm gonna be fucking nasty. So, my bad.
Well, I can say this. It helped. And I mean, you got to have that. You got to get the fire going with between you two. And it
Uh-huh.
showed. And that's another one. Again, in the future, we saw her at LFC 26 in the crowd with Andrea while, at the Storm
hmm
Godoy. So, I mean, I hope to see Cali Cat back in the LFC, in the ring. That's the cage. I mean, that's another one I think that needs to be rehashed. And I mean, you're back. You're
Uh-huh.
ready to kill better than ever. So, I mean, and I look at what I wanted to add to that is we talk about Andrea the Storm Godoy. Now, Andrea was the coach because of what happened at LFC 26 with Leon Hayter, that situation with
Uh-huh.
Tomiko and Shelly. So we
Yeah.
now have, Andrea. Jolene just got suspended as well for not letting go of the hold with Monica at the last LFC 27 event. I gotta say,
Ah,
it just came
yeah.
out, so I gotta say this to you. There's so many like possibilities on your end. I mean, Jolene has that European Championship. Roxy Roundhouse Michaels has that LFC Championship. We got to get some gold around your waist, animal.
I gotta bust my ass a little bit more and earn that right.
Well, I got
I
to.
am not quite there yet, but I am trying to get there.
Well, I got to tell you, and what's great about you ladies is you all have that great intensity and that great passion. So that's why I say I think the fans, and personally for myself, we're all very lucky just to see what comes going forward with yourself.
Yeah, me too.
Now, I have to ask you, because another thing I wanted to mention is we talked about your bout against Jezebel Fire Queen Marie, relatively newcomer, but I got to say this to you. I think it really adds a lot going with LFC. We have all these newcomers coming in and just seeing the popularity and the growth with LFC. I think, as a fellow fighter, you got to be very happy about that. We get to see more fresh matchups for the LFC fans.
Yes, I do. That does make it a lot more interesting and fun. You never know. 'Cause after a while, we kind of all know each other. Yeah, yeah, it's good to get some diversity in there.
Exactly. Now, I mentioned Andrea the Storm Vladoy in there, and I have to mention this because you two had a great bout at LFC 25, but the weigh-in is what was great about that because you were going out there tough, just doing your little pose there. Andrea kind of did a little making fun of you there, and I mean, it was a very intense weigh-in at that point in time, might I say, because I did enjoy that weigh-in between the two of you.
Yeah, like that was a very rough time for me in my life, and I really don't care. I have sex appeal. I capitalize on that. It's who I am, so I'm going to do that. And there are going to be girls who are not so sexy, but they make up in other ways. She beat my ass. Even if I was prepared, even if I had my shit together, even if I was in shape, she still would have beaten me. So I have to come out and make up in areas or overcompensate where I lack, or where I lack, whatever.
Okay, I completely understand what you were saying there. No worries. I have to say this: you looked fine. You looked very good. You all look very good. I mean, going into the LFC 25 weigh-in, I think that was probably one of the most calmest weigh-ins I've ever seen with you ladies until the end, with Monica and Roxy going in there. But we saw a little bit with you and Andrea there as well. But I gotta say, out of all the weigh-ins, that was probably one of the most calmest weigh-ins ever in the history with LFC. So
me and Miss Spicy Fist got a little feisty at one of our weigh-ins.
Oh, yes. I did see that. I mean, putting that choke in. Yeah, I saw that. I see the two of you going at it. I saw that. Good stuff. Now, as far as... I did have to mention this to you as well, because we did talk about Slovakia very briefly with that Cali Cat there. Going over with LFC into Bratislava, Slovakia, that's, I mean, international. Can you talk about going over there from an international standpoint and fighting over there against Maya Hellfire Vajakovic? I mean, and that whole experience going to Slovakia, that's huge for LFC, and that's got to be huge for all you ladies.
Yes, that was quite the experience. There's a lot of bonding going on. It was surreal to be in another country doing what I love doing and have the opportunity to go over there.
And I always compare this to, personally, I think LFC needs to do a lot more international traveling, UK, what have you. I think it'll draw very well there, and I really just want to see you more international around, because it gets to add more to your repertoires, going to Slovakia, fighting all these, fighters coming from Slovakia. And I look at it how wrestling has, with, Mexico, Puerto Rico, UK, we see a lot of different diversity there, like we mentioned, keyword from before. But I mean, it adds a lot, and I think it's going to add more going towards the future. Hell, even Asia, China, what have you. I think adds more to repertoires and adds more to the stylings going into LFC.
Yes, that would be would be great for the company to expand. But selfishly, I would like to keep it in the U.S. because I made a couple mistakes. I can't leave the country for a few years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'd like to keep it in the States for now, but definitely it'd be amazing for the company to do more overseas and different countries.
First and foremost, understood. Things do happen. It's okay. It happens. We all make mistakes. And number two, we all learn from them. So I mean, again, international exposure is key. But I just had to put that in there because I was very happy to see a lot of you girls go to Slovakia, because again, that's huge. Going to Bratislava, Slovakia, you guys do a lot of great. You guys do a lot of great events in Vegas, obviously being the forefront with the Nerd Bar, and this last one, Neapolis, the Outwards, and then Good Charlotte's performing right after that. That's a hell of a time in Vegas.
Yes, it was. That was quite the event. There was a lot going downtown. It was just a great atmosphere and a good crowd.
And I think that's really what makes LFC. We got a lot of great, passionate fans, and it shows. And like I said, I can't reiterate this enough. I got to thank you. First and foremost, I mean this with the utmost sincerity and respect towards you and all the LFC fighters. I got to thank you guys for doing what you do. It's all love and respect from my front.
Well, thank you very much.
You were very welcome. So I got to say this to you as well. One of the big things, and what I love watching about the LFC reality shows, is there's a great dynamic with coaches. Leon Hader, Joel Kane, Maxine the Boss Frost, who was the LFC president at the time. Now it is currently Holly May. So, I mean, watching that, we get to see a lot of great dynamics with the fighters, the coaches, and just the overall training regimen that we see on the show with you ladies. So one particular incident we got to talk about is you were on the black team, you get traded over to the pink team, the bucket of pucks, for Holly May at the time with Leon and Joel Kane. Yeah. Can you talk about that for us?
There's not a whole lot to say. Although I do look really good in black, but there's not much of a difference. Although I did love having Hader as a coach. There's not too much of a difference. It is what it is. I have no control over that.
Got you. Now, I got to say this to you because a lot of people say with Joel Kane, his methods may be unorthodox, but I mean, hey, yes, I know, but I mean, he gets the job done, and I got to say this.
Yeah.
Look at who the LFC champ is, Roxy Roundhouse Michael. So LFC's got the gold, the pink team.
Yeah, I love her. By the way, she's so sweet, so gorgeous, and awesome.
Agreed 100% on that. I think as far as the face as the company goes, she definitely, has that. And I look at all you ladies as this is, I can't wait to reiterate the fresh matchups. There's so many great stuff coming with LFC, and I got to say this to you as well. I really cannot wait for your next fight. And as far as fighting goes and combative sports, I wanted to add and correlate all this together here. Look at MMA, look at the pro wrestling world. We've seen a lot of people come from Ken Shamrock, from MMA to wrestling. You look at Tank Abbott, Dan Severn, Brock Lesnar. You look at what Ronda Rousey's done, and I mentioned Shayna Baszler earlier before. I got to ask you, what do you think about all these correlations and tie-ins with MMA and pro wrestling? As someone who's a fan of both, I think it's awesome, and I think it helps both art forms, respectively.
Absolutely. There's across the board, we're all athletes. Sometimes it's more fun to sit back and be more on the entertainment side. But either way, we're all family, all just try and do what we love doing. But it's fun to have the back and forth. Yes, because it can't all be serious, hardcore fighting. Sometimes it's fun just and be an entertainer.
Exactly. And as far as I meant to actually mention this earlier, because since we talked about, Syndicate MMA and what Greg Frito does, great training from both of those sides. I also wanted to say for wrestling, you look at what Future Stars of Wrestling has going there. So, I mean, you got Glenn Gilberti, the former Disco Inferno, training there. So if you look for MMA pro wrestling, Vegas, there's a lot of hot spots there.
Yes, they do. There's definitely a lot going on in Vegas.
So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, if anybody's wants to do some MMA pro wrestling, there's some top spots there, and you get to work with some great people like Lauren the Animal Fogle, Jesse El Toro Santos, Greg Frito. I mean, it's really a big family, and that's what I love the camaraderie about all you ladies as well. I mean, it's a little bit of a dysfunction at the junction sometimes, dysfunctional family, Yes. I mean,
a bunch of females, of course, it's dysfunctional.
All right.
But yes, absolutely. Our out-of-town fights, it's bonding, it's the whole experience. So as much as I love being in Vegas and the smaller events at the Nerd, I do miss those trips and just it's about the bonding and camaraderie.
Exactly. I mean, I remember.
And of course, kicking ass.
I mean, I look at what you ladies did in Kansas, for example. That's where Monica became, the LFC champion. I mean, there's so many events that you guys have done. I think it's just going to get better and better. So, like I said, I love it. And I mean, just the camaraderie and the road trips, the miles, the money in the miles, as Captain Lou Albano said, the only thing real in the business is the money in the miles. So, I mean, it all comes full circle. And I got to say, here's to you, because I'm loving what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I'm trying. Just scooting along in this thing called life.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I got to say this to you. I do have a couple final questions I want to ask you, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to reach out with the overture here. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you are more than welcome to.
Awesome. Good to know. Whenever I feel like flapping my gums about stuff, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, please. I'm happy to have you. And I got to say, whether you're doing what you're doing from the modeling front, which I got to say, I've seen your shots with the cosplaying and just what have you. Shots that came out great. Whatever you're doing, modeling, LFC, whatever you're doing, I just want to see you just keep doing what you're doing, because, like I said, I got nothing but love and respect for you. So I really can't thank you enough. Thank you, Lauren.
I really appreciate your support. It means a lot.
It's my pleasure. Now, I have to say this as one of the final questions. I love asking this because what we do with podcasting, and like I've told you, I think it's great that we have this platform to give people to tell their stories, such as yourself, Miss Fogle, and whether it be LFC, whatever different art form, whatever different, genre or whatever different endeavor, say, that you do. What advice would you give any girl that wants to get involved with, like you've done, LFL, modeling? You're doing so many shoots, LFC. What endeavor would you give them? What advice would you give them, whatever endeavor that they want to pursue?
Hold your head up and keep pushing through. There's going to be negativity all around you. People saying you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. If it's what you want to do and you love it and have heart, fucking go for it. Just playing football in a little outfit. People talk so much shit. I'm like, I don't care. It's more popular than any other female football, and honestly, I really love being half naked, so it's a win-win. But yes, keep following your dream. Do not give up. There we go. Do not give up.
Okay. I think that was beautifully said.
Push through the negativity. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. First and foremost, that was beautifully said and very blunt. I like that very much. Okay. And I just wanted to share this as well because I mentioned modeling in there, and I think, I'll be honest with you, as someone who was raised by two great women, my mother and my grandmother, God rest her soul, I've always appreciated the beautiful, like I mentioned, the three key elements of beauty, strength, and dominance that are exuded in the women work of art that women are. And I have to thank my mom for that, because my mom has just probably, I'm going to say my mom's probably the best woman in the world. So, and I know I'm a mama's boy, but I'm going to get to what I'm saying here, so I don't ramble here. But I look at modeling, and whether it be in, plus size modeling in general, women are a work of art no matter what shape, size, or whatever. I do enjoy that. So just, again, art forms, and I just wanted to reiterate that it's someone who was raised by a very strong and powerful woman.
No, thank you. That is awesome. Yes, I'm an athlete first and foremost, and became a model later on. And it sucks just because of your looks. Sometimes you don't taken seriously as an athlete. Like, we were athletes since we were little. We didn't become models until much later in life. There is such thing as both.
Exactly, and I look at it too, to correlate again with MMA and pro wrestling. Like, I remember, as a kid with the 80s, they talked about intergender wrestling with Andy Kaufman and, being the intergender champion of the world, and what we see in wrestling and the likes of Lucha Underground, AAA, and just how intergender wrestling has taken off. And I just look at, how women have changed with pro wrestling over the years, the evolution, however you want to define it, what Ronda Rousey did for MMA, and like we mentioned earlier, Invicta, Shannon Knapp's promotion. So, I mean, women are just kicking ass, and personally, I got to just say this, I just love what the women have been doing for years and years and years, not just now, but years prior. I mean, look at what Layla Ali did for boxing. I mean, there's so many great women, great talented women. So I just wanted to put that point out there. I know I apologize for rambling, but that just needed to be said.
I'm glad I'm not the only awkward one in this conversation.
Don't even worry.
Normally I am.
Don't even worry about it. Well, okay, first and foremost, all right, I'm going to mention this. I'm going to pull back the curtain here. First and foremost, you talking about you're awkward. You're not awkward. You're very passionate, and that's why I appreciate it. We're both two very passionate people, so that's why I appreciate
it. Well, I like to... awkward normally has a negative connotation, but when I use it, it's a good thing. It's good to be silly. It's good to be different.
Exactly. I mean, like, we nerded out before. Like, I'll be honest with you. My two loves are pop culture, mostly music-related and wrestling. Like, that's what I grew up on. I grew up on the days of hearing, like, TRL and Total, Say What Karaoke is on MTV before they stopped playing music, and now all it's on there is, like, Catfish and all these reality shows. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, like, I get it. And having a subscription to J14 magazine as a kid, so, like, I can relate. Yeah. So, I mean, and just friggin' the rock concerts and all these concerts growing up in Long Island at Jones Beach, my God, I mean, just good times, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to cherish, and just, that's what I always say to people, cherish and just, just always hold on to those good times and make memories, create moments.
Yes.
So.
That's what life is about.
Exactly, that is what life's about, and that's why I like it. You also, I'm going to say this to you, besides not even awkwardness, you're a Hellraiser. That's what you are. I see you out here. You're just being a Hellraiser, just coming back. Yes.
Yes.
So, that's all right. So, Lauren,
that's cause trouble.
That's not
stir the pot, if you will.
Okay, now you see, I'm going to take you back here because you're kind of like that board game. It's fun getting into trouble, man. It's fun getting into trouble. Just press the button. Yeah, that's you. That's what that commercial was about. It's fun getting into trouble. That's you. Since you're talking about getting into trouble, yes. All right, so Miss Fogle, I'm going to step back because Ladies First is not just a Queen Latifah song. Can you tell us where we can find you? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine. The floor is yours. And promote any upcoming events. Promote LFC. Go right ahead.
Instagram, Lauren Fogle 10. Facebook, it's Lauren Fogle. That's all I have. I don't have anything coming up.
That's okay.
I'm not getting full promotion. I can't really have anything to promote.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
First and foremost, do not feel bad. A lot of people do that with their social medias. I tell everybody it's okay. You can check out Lauren, like you mentioned, Instagram, Facebook. Anything on the Twitter so anybody can check you out, or no Twitter?
No Twitter.
Okay, no worries. And what I'll do is I'll put the LFC websites below, and I'll put your social media where everybody can find the great animal that is Lauren the Animal Fogle. Very intense, very animalistic, if you will. It suits the nickname. And by the way, just lastly, before I even say this, I know we talk about our awkwardness, but I gotta say this. I love the nicknames. The nicknames also have, whether it be Honey Punch, Serena Honey Punch Kyle, who just, happy birthday to Serena Honey Punch Kyle, fellow.
Aw, she's so sweet, aren't her?
Yes. And a fellow nerd as well. My God, we could be here all day talking about nerdom with Serena, and I love Serena. You know, I mean, whether it be Ali Baby Doll Parks, Natasha Rattlesnake Rodriguez, Jesse El Toro Santos, Danielle Cowbell St. Pierre. So many nicknames, and Roxy Roundhouse Michaels, Monica Flowerbomb Garcia, Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. The list goes on and on. Lauren the Animal Fogle. So many great nicknames.
Wow, motherfuckers.
Yes. So they fit with you. That's also what I also appreciated about the uniqueness of LFC as the nicknames. And I just wanted to add that because that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, the nicknames.
Yes, I'm happy about that too. I love my things.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it does show. And I don't know really all I can say about that because I think you pretty much told it yourself. So, I mean, Lauren the Animal Fogle, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. And is there any final words that you want to have for the LFC fans and just fans of yours in general? The floor is yours as well. Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, I have nothing appropriate to say.
Okay, that's all right. We'll keep it silent on that front. Well, I'll say this: support LFC, support and anything.
Yeah.
No, nope. Just
Support LFC.
Support LFC. Okay. So support LFC, support Lauren the Animal Fogle. She's awesome, and all the girls are awesome. So I really can't. That's all I can say. I got nothing but positivity and love for you. So Lauren, I got to just say thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to doing this again.
Thank you. I hope you have a great night.
You're very welcome. So for Lauren the Animal Fogle, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.